Hello, hello, hello. This is Latif from I Am the Author of My Life. And no, I'm not this circle, it's just this voice talking. This voice is from Latif. So, what you see here is a circle. I'm using the Google Jamboard. I just discovered this today actually. I'm going to explain the concept of the source of all problems and how to deal with problems in kind of a philosophical or ontological manner. Okay, so what is a problem? What is a problem? If you think about it, a problem is something that is either in your way of achieving something, or it is something incomplete, something imperfect, or something that is just irritating to you, I would say. An itch that you need to scratch, something bugging your mind. All right, but that's a very general way of putting it. But you see, in general, in most cases, a problem is something that exists in language. All right, so language is the house of being. You deal with things in your life through language. So we are dealing with this problem in a linguistic way, in a ontological manner. Okay, so what you see here is a circle. Okay, suppose this is a wheel. All right, it's a perfect circle. Okay, for a wheel to have no problems, for a wheel to function perfectly, for a wheel to function with 100% integrity, it must be completely circular, right? Okay, what if I add something new here? What if I add an element? And there is like this wooden thing jutting out, just attached to the wheel. Can the wheel function? No, right? Okay, so what happens here is now the wheel loses its integrity, because a wheel is supposed to be perfectly circular as possible for it to be able to roll on the ground. But when you have something like sharp and perpendicular introduced here, its circularity, the integrity of the circularity of the wheel is gone, is disturbed because of the introduction of this thing. So this thing here is the problem, right? So you see, a problem is either something that is added to something that is perfectly functioning, perfectly working, or something that is taken out of it, right? So let's say instead of like a wooden or whatever triangular thing added to the wheel to disturb its circular roundness, this triangle represents, a gap. Like you cut out a portion of the wheel here, like you cut out a piece of a pie, or you cut out a portion of the wheel, or you break a spoke of the wheel, right? So instead of one line here, this is just like a blank space. So it's like someone breaks this thing and cuts off this piece of the wheel. Okay, so now the wheel has also no integrity. So a problem is something that is either added to or subtracted from something that takes away from its effectiveness or workability or functionality. Okay, so when you identify a problem like this, it is easier for you to see and separate the emotional attachment to the situation and the actual reality of the situation. So what could be a problem? It could be you are deep in debt, you don't have enough sales for the month, and you need to pay bills. All right, so what is missing or what is added here? Okay, so what is missing here, what is represented by this triangle, is the fact that you don't have enough money to pay the bills. You are short of, let's say, $1,000. Okay, so this triangle represents $1,000. Or it could be you have an additional expense that you need to pay for, but you don't have enough money. So this triangle represents the additional expense that you have to pay. Okay, so it subtracts or it takes away from that perfect circularity. All right, so just take this metaphor and just play along with it. All right, so how do you solve a problem like that? How do you solve a problem like that? First, you separate the emotions from the problem, from the language, right? Okay, let's try this sticky note. Let's see how this works. This is my first time using the Jamboard actually. So the problem is I don't have enough money. Okay, so that's a problem. Alright, now you break down this problem. What do you mean you don't have enough money? Can you be more specific? Okay, let's try something. I only have, for example, $9,000. And I have to pay a total 10,000, for example, in business costs. Okay, so this is in the context of a business, a small business. All right, so take away this thing. Maybe just eliminate this thing. Okay, so I have to pay a total of $10,000, but I only have $9,000. Alright, usually you'll phrase the words like that. I have to pay 10,000, but I only have $9,000. Alright, what if you rephrase it in a certain way? I have to pay $10,000 instead of but. You delete but, you say and I only have $9,000. Try this. Say a problem, say a situation, and then but a problem, and then you change the but to and. Let's say I want to go to Malaysia, but the borders are closed. So if you change the but to and, I want to go to Malaysia and the borders are closed. Nothing has changed. You cannot change the situation. However, something in your mind has shifted when you change the but to the and. Alright, so let's say I have not seen my friends for a long time since this lockdown, but I want to see them. I've not seen my friends for a long time since this lockdown, and I want to see them. So when you change the but to and, what happens is there's a shift in your mind. The shift is you take away the emotional weight of the problem. And when an emotional burden is taken away from your mind's assessment of the problem, you are able to come up with alternative solutions or ways and means to solve the problem. Right, so let's say I have to pay a total of $10,000 and I only have $9,000. So what this gives your mind is you don't have to think about the big number 10,000, you only have $9,000. What you can think about is next, you ask this question: where or how can I get just another $1,000? Right, so does the problem seem easier to digest now? So if you look at it this way, right, you have $9,000. That is not a small amount of money, all right? Depends on your perspective of things. That is not a small amount of money. You have already achieved somehow, like through sales or whatever, $9,000. You only need 1,000 more to achieve that completion of $10,000. Right? So where can you just get another $1,000? So does the problem seem easier to solve now? So you can think of this certain ways. All right, in another video I'll share another concept where you can be a cause in anything in your life, right? So circumstances don't dictate you. You can be the cause that dictates circumstances. All right, so I'll explain the concept in another video, but today is just this. It's about the source of all problems. So the source of all problems is either something that is missing or something that is added that takes away from the integrity, the completion, the wholeness, or the perfect functionality, the perfect workability of something. All right, so your situation is I have to pay a total of $10,000, but you only have $9,000. All right, so what's missing is $1,000. So if you can find a way to take this out by first separating the emotional burden, and one of the tools is to replace your but with an end, it gives your mind the ability to find ways and means and ideas to solve the problem better. So now you have found a way to get another $1,000. Now your picture is complete. You have $10,000 to pay for all your business costs for the month. Alright, so I will explain this a little bit more in future videos. So this is just an introduction to the concept. So the source of all problems, again, let me write this down. The source of all problems is basically incompletion, imperfection. Caused by the addition or subtraction of something else that affects the perfect workability of a thing or a system. Okay, the source of all problems is the incompletion, imperfection caused by the addition or subtraction of something else that affects the perfect workability of a thing or a system. This sounds very kind of simple, almost simplistic, but if you really think about it, if you really like just go with this idea, just go with this concept, things will start to click and make sense. You can remove emotional burdens, you can remove any emotional attachments to your problems, no matter what they are. You can replace the but with an and, you can replace the contradiction with just two statements of fact. Your mind will find ways and means to solve the problem in front of you. Alright, either that or you will be able to learn how to cope with a problem temporarily, because problems tend to not stick around. Okay, so everything works through cause and effect, everything works through functionality, through workability. So, and the problem is just an incompletion in your mind that exists in language, right? So an incomplete wheel on its own, or a wheel with a broken part of it, is not a problem by itself. It is a problem to you because you want to ride a bicycle. But the wheel is what? The wheel is an inanimate object. It doesn't have a mind of its own. It doesn't have a soul. It doesn't like complain, or it doesn't feel sad if it's broken. It's just a wheel. A wheel is just a wheel. Problems exist because humans define and label things as problematic. And humans define things as to be perfect, correct, right or wrong, or imperfect. Right, so that is the source of all problems. The source of all problems is in language, and specifically to go drill down deeper into it is incompletion or imperfection caused by the addition or subtraction of something else that affects the perfect workability of a thing or a system. Okay, and I realize this may not be the most perfect video to explain this concept, but I will try again in future videos. So remember to like, subscribe, share, comment, give me all your problematic comments, whatever. I don't care. No, I do care, but I'll just take it like this. I'll just take it objectively, and we'll talk again soon.